for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Good evening. How you doing? How you doing? It's Fade to Black. Yeah, well, you knew that. That's why you're here. It's Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. Let's do this, man. Yeah, I'm in a great mood. It's Halloween week. Man, how many times do I have to say it on the show? How many times? How many years have I said, man, Halloween is the best, man. It is. I need everybody to just absorb my world for a second. Get in my head. Get in there. Get in there. October 10th is my birthday. Couple of weeks later, it's Halloween. Couple of weeks later, it's Thanksgiving. Couple of weeks later, it's Christmas. Couple of weeks later, it's New Year's. This is my time. Man. I love Halloween. I do. I love Halloween so much. I had such a great time. As you can see, my goatee is back. It didn't take long, right? It didn't take long. I had to shave my goatee so I could be Dead Elvis for a Halloween party, which was absolutely amazing. And going to that Halloween party, which was vampire themed, that was the theme. All right, so I went with my friends who were vampires, and I was Dead Elvis. I didn't have the vampire teeth. I should have done that, by the way. Anyway, and I guess the trend is to get the glued-in eye teeth, right? That's what and I don't know how you eat. I guess you pull. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I was pretty jealous to see the eye teeth, not the whole, it was pretty cool. But anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. I really enjoyed putting on the blood. Yeah. My friend Amy came over and Romeo, and they were all, and I said, okay, Amy, I've got all this blood. She's looking at my counter, and I had like 3, 4, 5 different kinds of blood. Dark blood, light blood, coagulated blood, drippy blood, paint blood, spray blood, stuff in jars, stuff in, I had all the tubes, and she's like, let's go. And then, and I went and I looked in the mirror and I went, I like that guy. That's what Halloween allows us to do. To just jump into costume and be somebody else for the evening. It is so much fun. And here we are right in the middle of Halloween week. And we've got 3-Eye Atlas happening this week. We've got 2 other comets in the sky this week. It looks like ET is going to do a drive-by and say hello to this planet. I do think that 3-Eye Atlas is a UFO. Notice I said UFO, not craft. Not, extraterrestrial spacecraft. No, man, it's a UFO. It's a UFO. That's what's going on. All right. So what a great week. And the Dodgers won last night. The Dodgers right now. It's the top of the 7th. Toronto Blue Jays are up 2-1 over Los Angeles. Yeah. It's game 4 of the World Series tonight. Last night it went 18 innings. I'm not going to talk any sports tonight, but I did stay up till midnight to watch that amazing game. And here we are, Dodgers down 2-1, top of the 7th. All right. This week on Fade to Black. Last night, the Leo King was here talking about 3-Eye Atlas, David Palmer. And after the show last night, David and I texted throughout the ball game. Oh, man, we spent like 6-7 hours together last night. Tonight, Brooke Ashley is here. Psychic medium is with us, and we're going to talk about the history of Halloween and all kinds of other fun stuff tonight, kids. Tomorrow night is our 3-Eye Atlas special because it is October 29th, The Arrival. Thursday night, Jim Harold is with us. Our annual Halloween special. Every year, Jim Harold is here with us. And of course, he's host of one of the tippity top podcasts on planet Earth. All right. Campfire, the paranormal podcast. And he's just amazing. And it allows me to kind of take the night off because he's the best host. And I could just kick back and listen to the amazing Jim Harold like we do every year. And that is Thursday night right here on Fade to Black. All right. I'm just going to make this really quick. I do have 7 events coming up in 2026. First up is the Conscious Life Expo, February 20th through the 23rd here in LA. After that, the Sedona Ascension Retreat, March 20th through 22nd in Sedona, Arizona. After that, the Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st through the 3rd in Delavan, Wisconsin. After that, Contact in the Desert, May 28th through June 1st. And then I head south to Peru for the Inca Celebration of the Sun with Brian Forrester. That is June 23rd through July 1st. Right after that, I pack my bags and head over to Scotland for the Monty Python Tour of Scotland, August 1st through the 9th. I come back from that, unpack my bags, pack them again, head back to Peru, and this time to Easter Island. And that is November of 2026. Coming up in 2027, I'm going to Egypt with Sarah Breskman Cosme, and we're going to host this tour over there for the totality. That's right. The total eclipse is happening over Luxor, Egypt, and we're going to be there with 100 of our closest friends. All right. So that's everything that I've got coming up right now. Tonight, it is Brooke Ashley. We're going to be talking about Halloween all night tonight. She's a psychic. She's a medium. And talking about how we got here. What is the season that I just referred to you? What is Halloween? What is it that exists between worlds, and does it get thinner? You know, Samhain and those traditions, all of this stuff, it just fascinates me, and the history of it, and how we got here to, how do I say this, Disney Halloween outfits on the kids, right? How do we get here? And now she's an investigator with Earthly Imprint Paranormal. For the past 5 years, she has trained with some of the best in the field, developing a clear and compassionate approach to spirit communication. I would like to welcome for the first time to Fade to Black, Brooke Ashley. She's right there. What's going on, Brooke?
Hi, how's it going, Jimmy?
I'm good. We had a little scare there, didn't we? Had a little scare.
We did.
Had a little scare. Okay, I want you. I'll tell everybody what the scare was here in a second. But did I panic?
No, not at all.
Did I freak out?
Calm, cool, and collected, I'd say.
I was pretty calm, like the cool side of the pillow.
Yep.
Like the cool side of the pillow. So
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, we were doing sound check, and everything's fine. You know, we're just doing our thing, and then the swirls came on the screen. I went, oh no, you know. So I looked down, still got the internet. You know, anyway, the bottom line is we lost the internet. And so I called Brooke. I said, look, don't freak. It's not a big deal. Rebooting everything, and we'll be fine in a couple of minutes. Show starts in 10, but we'll be fine, kid. Right?
Yep. We got it.
Yeah. And then, you know, everything came back and everything's fine. And here we are. So, Brooke, you get the first time guest disclaimer. You won't get it the next time you're on the show.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it to you now. And it is this, Brooke, it's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends. Where the conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, but we're going to end as friends. Now, you have to accept so we can move on.
I accept.
Would they call, is that like a coven? What, you know what I mean? Is that like an agreement, you know, that?
It is, but I think it would be an interesting coven, the church coven.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, nicely played. Oh, wow. I had some mugs. Some friends of mine gifted me some mugs many years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Got a case of them. And they said, the Church of Woo. Okay. Now, I dig the play. I dig the play on words, right? The woo and everything, the Church of Woo. I get it. And then I thought to myself, these are for friends only, right? You don't want to sell these. You
No,
know what
not
I
at
mean?
all.
You don't want, and suddenly, oh, Jimmy Church has started a church. It's called the Church of Woo.
Rumor mill.
Yeah. He's ordained. I knew he's a warlock. I knew it. So Church of Woo. Still got him.
Yeah.
I still got the Church of Woo coffee mugs. So I have to ask you this. It's a softball question, but it's an honest one. We all got here for our own strange personal reasons. Okay. But most of the time, it's a crazy ass aunt or uncle. You know what I'm saying? Something
Yeah.
like that. How did you get here?
With the mediumship and all of this. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of a crazy ride, Jimmy. I can go right into the bulk of it, which would be pretty heavy very quickly. But I'm adopted, and I find that trauma tends to bring some extra stuff out in people. So I find the more trauma in your childhood, the more open you become as you get older, due to the fact that you need to tap into those psychic abilities or extra things earlier in order to protect your environment or protect yourself. So that's the heavy part of it, I guess I
Not
could
that
say.
heavy. Not that heavy. Not that. That's chapter 1 of my book.
Mm.
That's chapter 1 of my book. I was adopted,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things, and I'm glad you brought this up, okay? Because I was trying to figure out a way to put this into words that would make sense to people that maybe weren't adopted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm not sure if even the adoption part plays out as much as maybe early on in my life. My parents, before I was adopted, got divorced, and then I was adopted later. That's a whole thing. But here's the crazy part, why I agree with you, is you have to, as a kid, adapt to your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural thing to do. You just adapt. And if you don't have parents, you don't have a dad around or this or that, and you just, you know what, you make do. But what happened to me with that is I had nobody to tell me that shit ain't real.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't have anybody to tell me that UFOs or ghosts or goblins or fairies no. And so that allowed me to just go down my own path.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I didn't have adults around me, but I'm being serious,
Yeah.
to tell me that no, that's not what life is about. It's about this. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, that's like chapter 1 of my book. It's a very interesting thing that I have developed a way to think about it and approach it instead of playing the victim card or any of that. No, it's all part of the journey, isn't it?
It is. I agree with that. The victim stuff, I think it's interesting too, because I find that I never really saw myself that way. I was 4 when I got adopted. My sister was 7. We were adopted together to the same family. Luckily, my mom is a little bit woo-woo, so I think that's probably what fostered it, my adoptive mother.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just think that it's interesting. It's an interesting concept, and yeah. I don't know. I just think it's the more that you're kind of cracked open at a younger age, the more that you're able to kind of explore and be in that space. I think the sky's kind of the limit with that imagination, because kids have that anyways. You know what I mean?
What about I kind of know what you mean. These are the things, I know what you're saying, I should say.
Mhm. Yeah.
These are the things that we explore,
Yeah.
trying to figure that stuff out. And
Mhm.
that's the joy of it. I have an enormous amount of empathy for people that live in a 2D existence that don't ponder the trippy stuff. How
Yeah,
boring.
it is.
I feel bad for you. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I had okay. This is how we're going to start this show off. I had a friend, roommate when I was 20, 21. Name is Olivier. And he said this, messed me up for months, maybe a year. He goes, man, he was an atheist. He was French, which made him better than all of us, right?
Right.
That's what they think. So anyway, he goes, you know what happens when you die, man? You know what happens? And I'm like, what? He goes, this, you turn into worm food and you achieve your place in evolution. I was like, what? And he thought that way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel sorry. What? No,
Yep.
that's not what happens. So I see him. That was 40 years ago. I see him 6 months ago at a club. I go, Olivier, remember? And I told him the story. He goes, I never said that. I said, dude. He goes, no, man, I'm all into spiritual. I said, screw you, you fake, you phony.
Right.
Dude, I cried in my bedroom for 3 months.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? You can't just go and say that stuff. Ah, well, that was kind of like my dad's stuff.
Yeah.
But what do you with people that don't consider spirits, an afterlife,
Mhm.
another, you know what I mean, another dimension.
Mhm.
How do you communicate with them? You're a medium. How do you tell them what you do?
Well, and that's the thing. It's kind of funny you bring it up because you just described my adoptive dad. He is that way. You are worm food. When you pass away, that's it. You're done. There's nothing else. And him and I have always had kind of a complicated relationship, like love him to pieces. He's my hero, but at the same time, he's so black and white. And it's been hard for me to like foster that relationship because I was always the woo-woo kid or the witchy kid or the weird kid. And he's so straight arrow. He's so straight edge. And the thing that I find is there's no point in attempting to explain what you do because they're never gonna see it your way. He stopped talking to me a year ago, and I have not spoken to him for a year because I started doing mediumship, and he is like, he might as well be Harry Houdini. He's like got his pitchfork out. So that's kind of how it is with him. And I find the best way to explain myself is to not explain myself. Yeah.
What can you do? I just make this really brief. My mom and my brother were here, my brother's wife and their son last summer.
Mhm.
We're driving around and I'm showing them the sights and everything. And I bring up and I say something and I go, well, we did this over here in a movie that I filmed and we filmed it right over here. And I'm looking at my mom in the mirror and she's got this blank look on her face. She didn't ask me what the movie was. She didn't ask me what it was about. She had this blank. I said, have you ever seen anything that I've done? And this guilt, like this look on her face came over. And I didn't want to put her in that spot, but there's no sense in carrying on this conversation if they don't. And they honestly, they don't know.
Mhm.
They live in a whole nother thing, the opposite of what we do here. And you know what? And we'll just leave it go. There's
Yeah.
no sense. I can't change. You can't. No. What? I'm going to turn my mom into an abductee. It's not going to happen. Right.
Right? Yeah. No, I agree with that completely. My mom, I love her to pieces and she tries to be supportive, but it's the same thing. I don't even bother asking her if she's seen anything I've done because she'll straight tell me, no. Oh, really? How come? I didn't want to. And I just think, okay, things have been very different since I walked into mediumship 5 years ago. And I don't know how to talk to her anymore. So it's like I will like lower my expectations when I'm around her. We will talk about 2D things, and I will leave the rest on the table at home.
What can he do? You know, what can he do? Have you
Right.
ever asked her if she's seen a ghost?
She has, and the thing is that's the weirdest thing.
See, that's the other thing, right? They want it both ways.
And they can't have it. And the weird thing is, my mom is like literally like a little Buddha. Like she does Tai Chi every day. She doesn't believe there's like this, like, man in a robe in the sky. She was raised Catholic. She cut away from that at 12. Like, this doesn't make sense at all. This is like kind of a narcissistic way of thinking. Like, I don't get it. She told me she even had an outer body experience where she like astro traveled. But what I do is it's like too much for you.
Yeah. That's too freaky.
I don't get it.
Oh, I love that. Well, this comes up a lot on the show. Halloween is this very, very, very special holiday for the entire country, the world, right? It's a very special holiday, and I love it so much. But there's another strange component with this, which is exactly what we're talking about here. No matter who you are, your family, jobs, religion, politics, ethnicity, none of that matters. Everybody's got a ghost in their house. And everybody talks about it. And your grandparents will tell you that they've got a ghost. That occurs everywhere. But the idea of spirituality or not becomes this polarizing thing, and you can't have it both ways, right? Either you believe in ghosts and there's something going on that we don't understand, and spirits and everything else, or not. But you can't have it both. You can't be an atheist and have a ghost in your house. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly. And I think it's funny because, well, I feel like you touched on something that's kind of interesting. It's like you can't have it both ways. I swear that is just human nature in everything you think of. So many things you think people want to have it both ways. They really do. But it's an interesting factor because people look, here's something I'm going to point out, right? You can't have it both ways. Churches who are against Halloween still have harvest parties where kids dress up and get candy. It's like, well, which one is it? You know what I mean? So I notice how all across the board, everybody kind of wants to be involved in Halloween, whether or not it looks this way with the gore and all of the scary, or it doesn't, but it seems as though everybody kind of wants to be involved in it somehow.
There is a ginormous, I'm not going to say the name. There's a ginormous church up the street. And I mean, like big, right? Big, thousands of cars every weekend, just huge church and new, and it's cool. Anyway, they party on Halloween. Right? I'm going by. They've got the tents up. They've got all the pumpkins out. You know what I mean? They've got this harvest, the thing that you're talking about. And I'm like, I'm not so sure. But you can't. People just love Halloween.
Yeah.
And that's an example of wanting it, being a little hypocritical.
Yeah.
Being, you know what? Just let your stuff hang in the breeze. It's okay. It's okay. What's your when we look at the history of Halloween, what's your favorite part of it?
I find it fascinating, just the whole idea of where the costuming came from, or trying to disguise yourself. So having the bonfires to keep away like negative spirits or protect yourself from spirits. And then the idea that you would put on masks, or you would put on animal clothes like animals over you to try to disguise yourself, or to blend in with the spirit world, or confuse the spirit world so that you wouldn't be in trouble with the spirit world, essentially. And I always found, how interesting is it that this tradition's over 2,000 years old, and some of those aspects are still, to how far they've gone. The costuming, the covering your face, the trying to, look different, and all of that stuff staying the same from the beginning all the way till now.
Have you when you look at the Day of the Dead and how South and Central America and so forth celebrate that, and th- we're Disneyland compared to that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And taking it to the next level, and it's very, very cool. Peru, they have their winter solstice celebration that they do every year, and it's in Cusco, and they have 1 million people show up in that little city. And the costumes and the dress and the parade, which goes on, the parade is like 16 hours. It's 1 million. The Rose Parade, Thanksgiving Day parade in New York, rookie stuff compared to what goes on, and people like doing that. They do, you know, man. A couple of days, I get to just do this and dance and have fun. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, and it's weird.
Yeah.
You know, all the blood, all the monsters.
Yeah. I feel like it's interesting too, because if you look at other cultures, the way that they revere the dead is so different than this country. We tend to shy away from it. We tend to not want to talk about death.
Why is that? Why is that? Like in Mexico, the
Mhm.
celebration of the dead is extraordinary. If you
Mhm.
don't know what's going on, it's frightening. Skull
Yeah.
mask, you know. But
Right.
no, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I think it's probably just it's such a cultural difference. I feel like we don't carry tradition so deeply here. It's like when people started to come to this country and it's like, okay, we're going to do the American way. How many people would change their names? They wouldn't speak, their language if they could help it. Like people who were coming in through Ellis Island, it was almost like they wanted to shed things that made them connected to their culture. So I feel like a lot of it got washed away through time. And if you look at other cultures, they revere their dead in such an honest way, in such a um kind of, I don't want to say in your face, but they don't shy away from it. I have my mentor, her name is Cindy Keza. She spends a lot of time in Indonesia, and she talks about the fact that in Indonesia, they have this whole celebration for their dead. They literally keep their loved ones in their home for a year before they even bury them.
What? No,
Yeah,
they don't. Is
they
that
do.
true?
They do. They do. So they will keep their loved one in.
No, 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 no,
Mhm.
no. I draw the line. I draw the
Yeah.
line there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
draw the line.
And they bring them food, they bring them drinks, they talk to
Right.
them, they spend time with them, and
Wow.
then a year later, they bury their loved one. So it's this idea of it being such a beautiful thing to them, not a scary thing. And I think that this country tends to turn it into such a scary thing or something we don't want to talk about or we don't want to deal with. And I think it's interesting.
There was oh god, I gotta think of the documentary series. Came out last year on Netflix. Mother God, Mother of God. Small cult, right? That was bouncing around between like I don't know, somewhere in New Mexico to Colorado, and I think they were in Sedona for a minute, moving around. But anyway, the leader of the cult, this woman, dies, and she dies from taking one of those silver drinks, right?
Mhm.
Whatever. I don't mess with that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, she drank too, and she died, but her skin turned green gray, and the last videos of her, like the last year of her life, were just frightening. Anyway, they kept her body. They kept her body, man. They moved it from state to state. She was already gray before she died, right?
How
But now
long
she's
did
dead.
they
Yeah. Oh man, I think 6 months maybe
Oh my
before
gosh.
before the authorities caught up with them, and you can't transport a body down across state lines and stuff.
Right.
Anyway, and they would put flowers around it. They kept her in a room. It's
Oh
like,
my
oh my
goodness.
But that's exactly, I mean, for us, it sounds so crazy, but I guess in
Mhm.
Indonesia,
Yeah.
but the Egyptians did that too.
Mhm.
Think about that, the mummification process, and they would bring food, and when you got buried, you were buried with the things that you needed in the afterlife,
Yeah.
clothes, right? Yeah, it
Yep.
was like crazy how they looked at it so many thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
It seemed very advanced for a culture that the rest of the world was still living in caves when Egypt was doing these very advanced things, but
Yeah.
for the same things that you're talking about, right?
Mhm. Yep, definitely. I agree. I think each culture has if you dive into each culture, it's probably got some incredible stories about how they deal with their dead loved ones, and the rituals that kind of surround that. But they all of them seem to be a lot more in depth than. And I mean, if you think about, there are other cultures who think burying your dead is like horrible, right? And we bury our dead in the ground, and there are other cultures who are like, no, that's so cruel. Why would you bury them? I know that in India, they have that river that is it the Ganges? And they light them on fire and push them out to sea in the Ganges. So it's kind of like a crematory sort of situation, right? So it's interesting because maybe what we think is not morbid, another culture would think is totally morbid, right? So it's just such a cultural difference.
What are the actual origins of Halloween? I know we have Samhain and is it before that? What are we talking about here as far as time wise?
Yeah, it was about 2,000 years ago, Samhain, and it is Celtic in nature, so it's gonna be in kind of that area. Druids were a bit of a part of that as well, but you have, like, with your druids, like your druid culture, they would be your astronomers and your judges and your teachers and spiritual teachers and stuff like that, so, it's kind of that comes from that culture, and I know it's over 2,000 years old, so they say. But that's really where it stems from, is all of those traditions to bring in, a good harvest, things of that nature, protect yourself during winter and fall. It's that whole region over there is really where it came from.
Is it something that then spread into
Mhm.
yeah, I want to say going into the east and then south from there, and kind of spread through, because you also had the Vatican at that time and
Mhm.
Christianity
Mhm.
dealing with the Druids and the pagans and what was going on there,
Mhm.
trying to chill things out and maybe even combine holidays
Yeah.
and do some stuff, and work together, right?
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so about the 8th century, I believe, I think it was Saint George the Third. I think it was. He made it All Saints' Day or Hallows Day, trying to combine it kinda with Christianity, but a lot of the traditions that were original to this holiday or these rituals with the Celtics kind of stuck, even though I don't think he really wanted them to, they kind of stuck. So like dressing up and having the fires and all of that stuff kind of stuck. But I know it was around the 8th century where um they tried to blend that with the Christianity, and I think that's where it kind of meshed. And uh,
Well,
yeah,
they did that with Easter. It's Sunday and Saturday, the
mhm,
first day of the week and the day of worship. That was an
mhm,
agreement with the pagans. A lot of people don't understand. They don't, the church was just trying to chill stuff out because of what was going on.
mhm.
But the first day of the week and Sunday and Easter, people need to go and check and see what's really going on there.
Yeah.
It was a combination of different things to chill. They always wanted to control the narrative, and they certainly did that with Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's a huge secret that they would wanna control the narrative. I think that's pretty across the board with most
Right.
most things, you know what I mean, that they kind of have their hands in for sure. But um it's I feel like there's pagan kind of traditions or pagan things in all of the holidays, really, because Christmas as well. And so it's kind of interesting if you dig into like the church, where some of these traditions blend and why they blend, you know?
I often wonder. There was a movie, maybe you've seen it. There was a documentary and called Zeitgeist. Did you ever see it?
I haven't heard of that.
Okay, watch the chat blow up. Okay, so Zeitgeist, when that came out, it went viral before viral was a word. I'm talking about hundreds of millions of views. And the documentary, and you could only get it like, you know, if somebody burnt you a CD, and then eventually YouTube started, and then it was available there. And but what Zeitgeist was, Zeitgeist is old. Yeah, watch everybody start talking about this movie. Okay, so this movie, this documentary, the opening half hour of the movie, the first 10 minutes is dramatic, but the first half hour of the movie is all about how religion was either made up or combined from other elements around the world into a story.
Yeah.
Christmas, you know, the resurrection.
Mhm.
Okay, so I don't want to get too sideways into this, but Zeitgeist opened up the eyes for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of debunking that went into that movie from people that didn't want this story out.
Mhm.
Right? You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
controlled it for so many years, and
Yeah.
now the lid is off.
Yep.
And Zeitgeist did that for a lot of people, where you stop and you go, huh. So Jesus is like Osiris, is the same as every other religious icon in the world from every religion. It's all based on the same thing. It's not a Christian thing. It's not a Catholic thing. It's not a Jewish thing. It's not an Islamic thing. It's not
Mhm.
a Hindu, Buddha. Pick something, right? It's
Yeah.
all related. It was a very crazy revolution for a lot of people. Revelation, I should say, for a lot of people.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to watch it because I love those types of rabbit holes. I watch a lot of History Channel and a lot of look, I was a Christian for a really long time. I grew up Christian. I grew up in a Christian church and was very deep into the beliefs. I didn't really subscribe to the hypocrisy of the church, and I didn't really subscribe to this whole fiery depths if you don't do what you're told sort of thing. I felt like that didn't ever make sense to me. But I started watching the History Channel a lot when I was a teenager, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, they're like putting the truth and historical fact in here with all of these things about, you know, the religion like Christianity or the Bible or." And I thought it's always fascinating to me. So I love to watch that kind of stuff. I mean, I think that they were saying, if I remember correctly, that Jesus wasn't even mentioned until 50 years after his crucifixion, is what they're saying. Like, I think it was 50 years. And the Roman Church was the one who kind of put it into effect.
Yeah, see, and here's back to and tonight we're talking about Halloween. Is that just the mere mention of what you just said,
Mhm.
reflecting back on what you said earlier in the show about belief systems, right? And somebody is where they are at, you're not going to say anything to change their mind.
Mhm.
It's my words of wisdom. I say that so often.
Mhm.
There are how to offend everybody. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do it. There are people that it is a vast majority of this planet have a religious belief system that is unwavering.
Yeah.
So they hear something like what you just said, and we've all heard the evidence of this, right? Okay. We have. And that is it's a problem. Jesus is a problem. All right. But I like the baby Jesus. Okay. All right. But anyway, Jesus is a problem for everybody. But here's the answer. This is how firm there. You can't question God.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's the answer. That's the answer. You can't. No. I'm not going to question God. Everything
Yeah.
is done for a reason. Everything. He wasn't mentioned. There are plenty of texts that do. There's a it's just that you cannot reason
Hmm.
somebody away from their how they were raised. You
Right.
can't do it. You can't do
No.
it. You're not going to reason me off of ghosts. There's
Yeah.
no way. There's no way you're going to do that. You're not going to
Right.
reason me off of UFOs. It ain't
Right.
going to happen. You believe what you want to believe, but no, you're a psychic medium. Is
Yeah.
somebody going to reason you out of that?
Absolutely not. I will say it's interesting. It's interesting, right? Because I think one of the things that I learned along the way is that every time I think I know something, I don't know anything. So I'm the first one to say, I could be wrong about everything. I don't know. This is my experience from everything that I've had coming through my lens in my life. So this is what I can say I've experienced, but I'm never going to be the first one to say I know for sure that this is the answer. So, I can only take in the things that make sense to me and kind of leave the rest. Maybe 10 years from now I'll believe something totally different than I believed today, because I know that maybe 20 years ago I would have believed differently than I believe now. So, I think I like to keep it open-ended. I think I get a little tripped up when someone refuses to stay open-ended and then the hypocrisy kind of comes out and it's like, well, you just have to trust and believe. Could I see proof? I would like to see proof that any of what you're saying is true. Well, you just have to believe, but you don't believe anything I'm saying. And I have a belief that I just have to believe that. So why do I have to believe your belief, but you don't believe? It's just the hypocrisy of it that kind of wigs me out a little bit.
Yeah. I'm a walking hypocrite too. I'm a walking paradox. But I think I would rather admit to that in that I have the right to change my mind.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is being hypocritical or paradoxical or anything. You're not. No, I'm entitled to change my mind. It's called
Mhm.
learning,
Yeah.
right? It's called growth.
Yeah.
I am certainly a different person like you are. 20 years ago, my views on things were radically different.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I'm a hypocrite. Yeah,
Yeah.
I admit it. It's called having an open mind, having
Yeah.
open dialogue. I love talking to people that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
And that's some of the fun, most spirited conversations that you can have. What do spirits? I know this is going to sound strange, but it's my twisted mind. How do spirits view us celebrating Halloween?
I really couldn't answer that question because when I'm connected to the spirit world, it's almost like they have such a disconnected view of this world. It's they become, I feel like when people pass away, or for what I've noticed, people pass away and they move on to the other side. My experience is the ego gone. There is no ego. So when they go to the other side, worldly things don't really compute all that much to them. And if they are talking about worldly things, it's just to let their loved one know that they see it. They see what's going on with them. They saw the baby that was born, or
Mhm.
they saw that you graduated. They're so proud of you. But when it comes to things like Halloween or, that sort of thing, I'm not sure. Everybody says the veil is thinner around Halloween, but my
Right.
take on it is not necessarily that the veil is thinner, but that we are more aware of the spirit world. We are opening ourselves up to the spirit world because of Halloween and the idea of it. So things that people maybe wouldn't pick up on other times of the year would pick up on, because they are allowing themselves to open up because of the time of year. That's when everything's spooky and we're
You're
thinking about.
expecting it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
is it that that it's thinner, that the veil is thinner, or is it that people are more aware around that time of year?
Okay. I don't know what's going on, but 2 days ago, I've got the 2025 fly invasion going on in my house. Okay, flies.
Mhm.
And my house is spotless,
Mhm.
clean. It smells like a friggin' hospital, right? All right, I'm proud of that. Well, a hospital that's been saged. That's what that's what my house smells like. But uh these flies, and suddenly 2 nights ago, not last night, I was watching the World Series, but 2 nights ago, I started to freak myself out with this.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Didn't this happen in The Exorcist? Didn't this go down in The Omen? It was the flies first. I've seen The Conjuring. I've seen the flies come out of the mummy's mouth. Whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
like freaking out. And I'm like, did something die somewhere in my house? Am I going to have to go room for room for room in rooms that I haven't been in 6 months, right? And look to see if, I don't know, a squirrel got in the house, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And is that it? And I got worked up, and I was like, it's Halloween, man. It's Halloween. The veil is thin. I've got there's something going. I got freaked out.
Yeah.
Why? Because we expect it. Brooke, we expect it. It's that time of the year. And it's
Yeah.
just been going on for thousands of years. It's
Yep.
fall, it's spooky, it's crisp, it's cold. And there's a haunted castle, in town with
Yeah.
with Dracula in it. And these are right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's interesting because I definitely feel like you can kind of manifest things that you don't think you can manifest. People are way more powerful than they really give themselves credit for. It's incredible to see what some people can manifest without even realizing they're doing it. So putting your energy in a space where you're thinking of the spooky, you're thinking of the macabre, you're inviting that in. What can you manifest by doing that? Because this time of year, flies don't, I mean, they're kind of, it's not really the time of
I
year
know,
for that.
man. I'm telling you, I got all worked up. So I thought that it was all under control. And it kind of is.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. Right, it's gonna, come in behind us right now. But that's the other. But that's the other part. Is, do we have the ability to freak ourselves out and then suddenly we're manifesting it? I'm at a Halloween party last week, and somebody says to me in the conversation, "Have you seen?" Because it's a Dracula theme thing. Have you seen the new Nosferatu? And I go, I have. Pretty scary, huh? I go, yeah, man. Everything about that movie was scary. The music, the way it was filmed, the dude's voice, right?
Yeah.
Uh, that movie scared the crap out of me. And somebody at the table goes, you should watch it tonight when you get home after the party. I said, no, I don't. I don't. Why? You get scared. You know what I mean? Do we have the
Yep.
ability to manifest like that? You watch a scary movie and the next thing you know?
Absolutely. I'm a psychic medium, and when I watch like the Conjuring films, my clairvoyance is wild. I saw you. I saw you, like you're peeking your head around the corner from the pantry. Like, I know you are always there, but I saw you. Like,
Right.
clairvoyance. And you have to think about it this way. Think about like paranormal locations, like maybe one of the asylums or something. You have people coming in there with their intentions. They're freaking themselves out. They're scared. They're putting the intention that something awful is here. There's a bad shadow figure. And so people are experiencing these things over and over again. And you get the same vein of different people experiencing the same type of phenomenon. There is a black shadow figure in this specific room in the hospital that their head hits the ceiling, and more than one group of people are noticing it, right? It's happening over and over to people. Well, is that an egregore? Is that like a manifestation of all of the people who've been coming in there, just pouring into the room, then creating an egregore that becomes its own entity, then starts to behave the way that people are expecting when they come in there for something to behave. So you're pouring the energy in, you create the egregore, and now you're stuck with this entity that is in the space.
People enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. People love getting
You know what I
scared.
mean? Well, it's thrilling.
Yeah.
You know, fear is fun. I hate to say it, but
For some people.
man, you go to Knott's Berry Farm, right? What do they call that? I forget what they call it. The Halloween week there with all the haunted houses.
Yeah.
And jumping out. Yeah, they're noisy, they're scary, and they're doing, and you can't wait to go into the next room.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to elevate past the last dose of fear you just had. Well, yeah, fear is fun. There's a reason why scary movies are so popular.
That's true. I mean, people flock to the movie theaters to see the scary ones. That's why they're always really very popular films. And it makes you think, like, what is that? Is it we are so immersed in our daily lives, and the majority, it's like Groundhog's Day. They just want to feel something intense so that they know they're still alive. They're still, you just Groundhog's Day. And then when you get this rush, it's a dopamine hit, really. It's like any
For
other
sure.
dopamine. Yeah. Yeah. So people are looking for that dopamine hit.
Here in Los Angeles, we're the movie capital of the world, right? Everybody in Burbank is in the film industry. Doesn't matter if you're making costumes, if you're catering, if you're acting, screenwriter, director, set design, whatever, right? Everybody works in the film and television industry here. So Halloween at these houses are pretty friggin' amazing. And they will blocks, and I'm talking about blocks of houses where everybody, special effects people, costume people, makeup people, live in these houses, and they outdo one another with Halloween. So I'm out there with my two daughters, and they were like 8 years old, and we're on the street. And at the end of the street, I'm not making this, on all that is holy, they had a guillotine and they were beheading monsters. Okay. Yeah. A guillotine. Whop, whop. Head bounces out and falls into the basket. And you're watching that, it's whatever, some monster, right? It's laying his head down in this guillotine. And I'm standing there with I'm like, how are they doing this? And I'm watching this, and the head falls, and everybody's screaming. My daughter, right? It was out of control. It had the biggest crowd.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
Yeah.
Now, was it over the top? Yes. Was it politically incorrect? For sure. Right? Beheading of, in front of kids.
Yeah.
Who were loving every minute of it, by the way.
Right.
Spraying blood. It was crazy. Anyway, I don't know how they pulled it off. So I'm standing there, kind of a dick, like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And I never did. And my daughters, 2 girls, 2 little, 8, did not want to leave. They wanted to see some more action. It's weird how, I think that's why Halloween is where it's at. We enjoy it.
Yeah.
We enjoy it.
Yeah. I was adopted into the wrong family. I should have been on that block. That would have been the block for me growing up.
I'm not in any, there are people that are listening to the show going, I know that street in Burbank. Right?
Yeah.
I've been there. We drove there just for that reason. And yeah, the haunted houses and everything on the street. It was just amazing how. But that guillotine, I've never. My daughters still talk about it.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah. It was absolutely nuts. Is there a Halloween like in China, Japan?
Oh God,
Do they?
I feel like everybody celebrates it in some aspect, but I'm not really sure. Like, does the date change? Is it on a different date? Do they do it differently? I'm not sure, but I feel like it's all across the globe. Whereas other things like, Thanksgiving obviously is, for specific places, but I feel like this one is across the globe. I feel like people celebrate it across probably in different ways, maybe, but I'm pretty sure it's global.
And so we were talking about this earlier, but I want to ask you directly. Do people have a more heightened presence of ghosts and spirits and things on and around Halloween? Is that activity increased? Poltergeist?
You know what? Probably. It's probably PK energy, to be honest with you. Absolutely. Because the focus, all these people's minds are focused on this one kind of thing. And that really can change the energy of the room. It can change the energy of anything you're doing. It's like I said before, like our minds are so much stronger than I think that we really realize. That PK energy just gets like poured into the space. So people are just so much more open. And I think the fact that not only, so like maybe you're more open during Halloween. So, okay, well, I'm more open, but everybody else around you is open as well and enjoying Halloween and the spook of it and the ghosts and the goblins. So then their PK energy is pouring into whatever spaces you're in. So say you go to a bar, say you go to wherever it is you're going, all that energy is being pushed into the space. So I don't know, it seems like that would be if you weren't really the biggest believer, that would probably be the time you might see something or
Yeah, the
experience something.
universal straighten you out.
Yeah.
No, I'm oh man. I just find that so funny. Somebody just posted, Japan has adopted American Halloween. Huh.
Because it's cool and everybody loves it.
It is so much fun. Okay, quick question. Two quick questions. Do you have a favorite? This isn't trivial. This is not a trivial question. It's a non-trivial question. Do you have a favorite scary movie?
Ooh. I love the Conjuring films because I've been experiencing paranormal activity since I was a small child, and I just thought it was kind of normal, and I didn't realize until later that not everybody lives in an incredibly haunted house, probably with elementals and multiple other things. So those make me feel not alone in my haunting kind of background. So I love the Conjuring films. I also, if we're talking about like slasher movies, Halloween 1 and 2 are probably my absolute favorite.
Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah.
That's up there. The reason why well, first off, that says a lot about you. And that's so interesting. My daughter Nicole, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the one with Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
she could not watch it.
Really?
No, I mean, could not watch it. She would literally I'm not saying this in metaphor. She would bounce off the walls.
Yeah.
She'd like run around, and I only found out about that by accident.
Yeah.
She was channel surfing, or maybe I was,
Yeah.
and I stopped, and that scene was the movie was on, and it was him on the horse,
Mhm.
headless. Whoo!
What's interesting? I would be interested to know if there was something in her nightmare dream state growing up that was very similar to that terrified her, and it kind of came back when she saw it, because that kind of reaction to something of that nature, I find that there's some sort of connection in there. There's
She won't
usually
even talk. She's 30 years old.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll not talk about it. Will not talk. Will not. No.
interesting.
Yeah. So for me, it was I liked uh Nightmare on Elm Street
Mhm.
and Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Now, so this is why I'm bringing it up. How you manifest things.
Mhm.
So me and my friends were in our early 20s. I'm probably 20, 21 years old. We go camping at Crystal Lake where the film is done,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Mhm.
the summer camp. So we go up there, we set up a couple of tents, and I was just with a friend of mine last month that I did this with. We talked about it.
Yeah.
So we and we go up the hill, and so they tell me Crystal Lake is just right over this. I was like, really? So, and there were these big rocks. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So we go, and this fog comes in, and we go up over the hill, and there it is, man, the dock, right? The Crystal Lake, and it looks just like it does in the movies. And we're there at night, and it's a black lake, and it's not moving. It's like a pond, and it's just freaky. And this fog's rolling in, and you really can't see. And I'm telling you, we manifested terror.
You did.
Yeah. Oh, foofa. My heart. And I had my friends behind rocks. you know, and it's echoing. And I make it back. We eventually I get back to the campsite alone.
Mhm.
Everybody comes in, and my friend Rob and this other girl, Adrian, she's so cool. Anyway, start pulling up the tent. What's going on? We're out of here. I said, dude, good idea. Let's put this fire out. Yeah, we're out. We're out of here. We manifested the terror.
You do. And I think that there's lots of different ways. Like, so you guys are coming in there with that idea, and then this fog rolls in, right? It's just like, if we weren't there, would that have happened? If we weren't in that mindset, would that have happened? Right. But think about like when you're a kid and you play light as a feather, stiff as a board,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've played that, and our friend was on the ceiling with just two little fingers of a couple of us. Like, I mean, that's like manifesting. It's wild. It's crazy. And so it kind of messes with you because when you start to dive into, am I manifesting this? Then you don't know like what is outside of yourself and what isn't. It's like, am I manifesting everything? Is everything like in in a simulation and I'm manifesting it? Is anything outside of myself? It's kind of wild to think about.
I love that light as a feather, right?
Yeah.
The first time I saw that, I was, oh man, I was probably 6, 7, right? And my memory goes, my sisters had some friends over or something.
Mhm.
And they want, I don't even know what they're doing. Never heard of it. I'm just standing there watching, and they all get around, right? And they're doing the thing. And when they lifted her up, there wasn't that many of them.
Yeah.
I don't know, 6 girls,
Yep.
7th one in the middle, whatever. 2 fingers, and I remember the whole thing. Okay, 2 fingers, and I was one, and man, whoop, I
Yep.
had a heart attack.
Yep.
That was levitation, man. That
Yeah.
was levitation.
It's crazy. It's mind-blowing. I think that it's mind-blowing, and it's like one of those things that kind of let me know when I was young and witchy, like, and these were like my church friends I was doing this with, They're all church friends. We're all like, what, maybe 12 at the time, 11, and she was on this. It's just crazy to me. And you got
What
to
about
think,
what can I ask you about Ouija boards?
yeah. Oh yeah, you can. I don't touch them. I had a bad experience with them, and I think that they can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. I also feel like your feelings about any sort of situation is going to direct how something's going to happen. So I say if somebody has a fear of something, leave it, don't do it, because your fear is going to manifest into that space. So are Ouija boards necessarily a problem? Maybe they're not. But because of my belief of what's happened to me in the past, and I still hold on to that, and I haven't quite let go, I wouldn't mess with the Ouija board now, because I know that my negative feelings about them that are still in the back of my mind somewhere could project something into that space once again through my own fear. So I say, if you have a fear of something, I would leave it alone. I wouldn't, even if it's like reserved in the back of your mind a little bit, don't touch it, because that fear could manifest something. Maybe Ouija boards are better for people who really don't hold any preconceived notions or fears around it. It's probably a little bit safer for them to mess with. So I personally wouldn't. I had a bad experience when I was about 12 playing with one of those, and one of the most terrifying things in my life. So not for me.
Yeah. We're going to take a break right here, but if you're going to whip one of those out, and I don't have a problem with Ouija boards, it's just that you've got to set some boundaries. Okay. We're not going to do any stupid shit. Okay.
Right.
All right. Let's talk to Elvis. That's okay. That's in bounds. Okay. We're not going to summon Beelzebub. You know what
Please
I mean?
don't.
yeah, exactly. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's take our break. Our guest tonight, Brooke Ashley, and we're talking about, well, Halloween and other fun stuff. And we're going to be doing all of that and much more right after this short break. Brooke, you stay right there. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black t-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 t-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. Go Beckley Tappy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut.
Jimmy Church, Gaia TV, Fade to Black, here at Machu Picchu with Brian Forster and Hidden Inca Tours. Amazing tour so far, Brian, but we're here to announce what we're going to do next year in 2026. What's going on?
Okay, November 2026, we're going to have our major tour of Peru and Bolivia, either a pre or post tour of Paracas and Nazca on the coast. And then after that, 6 days in Easter Island.
Bucket list, Easter Island. Come join Brian and I and his amazing team here at Hidden Inca Tours for Peru, Bolivia, and Easter Island. Signing out. Say goodbye, Brian.
Bye, gang.
Yeah!
River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, and Brooke Ashley is with us, psychic medium. We're talking about Halloween tonight and why it is just so dang cool. Doing that and much more. You know, I was just thinking, and I don't know how this slipped by me. My two favorite scary movies, The Omen, the original, and The Shining. And I'll tell you why. They're real. Right? It's not some dude in a mask with a knife killing college kids at their fraternity. No. Those were, and for me at such a young age, there's a documentary. You know, those were real movies. The reason why I asked you your favorite, who do you dress Halloween? What's your costume this year?
Oh my gosh. I haven't worn a costume in like the last 2 years.
What? That's illegal.
I am a mother of an almost 18-year-old son. I am tired. I do not go anywhere. You know, Jimmy, the amount of partying and drinking that I did, I'm 41. So in the first, I'd say 27 years of my life, I could probably put most people under the table. So
wait. Pump the brakes.
Yeah.
You have an 18-month-old son?
18-year-old son.
Oh, 18-year-old. I thought you said 18-month and you're 41. I was like, how did that work? Oh, you have an 18-year-old son.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I retract. Yeah, I retract all the thoughts that I just had. But I think that I like to see what adults wear on Halloween, because their personalities really come in at the twisted, you know what I mean? We all have twisted thoughts. We just don't express them, except on Halloween.
Absolutely.
I'm at this Halloween party last week, and this vampire, she was totally cool. Vampire, right? Black dress thing, beautiful makeup, great, the whole thing. But around her waist, she had this thick silver chain, right? A big, like a toe chain around her waist. And hanging from the toe chain was a bloody, severed foot. Yeah. Now picture that. And she was sexy. She was cool. She had this thing, beautiful makeup, this whole severed foot. Bloody severed foot hanging from a chain. And I love that.
Yeah, she did it big. She went extra. She went all out. I think for me,
what's going on up here, right?
Yeah, I never could. I was always quite a few beats behind other girls my age, so I could never do the sexy thing because they did it better, and it wasn't cool to be like funny, in that environment. I'm funny on an everyday basis, but not in that environment. You want to be like the other girls in that environment. So I don't know. What do you do? It's like for most women, a lot of times, or younger ladies, it's like, oh, it's sexy nurse and sexy referee, sexy. So, I have a great appreciation for people who can think well outside the box when it comes to their costumes. I always love a good jokey costume. I'm one for the funny costumes.
Back in the day, me and my friend Rob went as the Menendez brothers. Yeah. When is the Menendez brothers? And man, we had so much fun with that. Izod Lacoste sweaters, right? With the dress shirt underneath with blood spatter all over our faces. I had a tennis racket. He had a shotgun. And when we showed up, we did this twice at 2 different Halloween parties. Everybody got it. It was twisted. I mean, it was twisted. But being able to express yourself like that. And we had so much fun going, okay, man, more blood. Yeah, more blood.
Yeah. It's that shock value. You know what I mean?
It was great. And everybody got it. I was like, are they going to get who we are? Everybody did. But yeah, that's one of the things. Kids can do whatever they want. All right. But adults, they plan this stuff out. Halloween costumes are not some afterthought. There's planning put into it, and you really get to look into somebody's mind.
That's true. My son is a little bit interesting. He's a pretty cool kid, but big horror buff as a young kid. He wanted to be a director and he wanted to be the next John Carpenter and all of that. So at a young age, he never really fell into the category of, oh, let me just grab a costume at the store, because he was too young. He wanted to be like the crazy killer clown. He wanted to be things that they didn't have costumes for his age. So I had to learn how to get really creative really fast. I handmade him a scorpion costume one year. It was so cool. It looked so good. I handmade him a Leatherface costume. I had to go to the I had to go to the Goodwill, and I hand cut out in blue a tie. I got a shirt. I hand did the apron, all of that stuff, because they just didn't make it for his, I think it was 7 at the time. So I had to get
You
real.
knew who Leatherface was at 7? What kind of mother are you?
Yeah. Blame my mom. She's the one who started letting him watch these movies. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I like to say I'm a pretty hard guy. Okay. I ride a Harley. I listen to heavy metal, Leatherface was too gritty for me. It seemed too real.
Mhm.
Is that the way to put it? That's why also, like Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
I was so beside myself with anticipation leading into that. And the way that he shot it, it was almost too perfect. It was too gritty. It was too scary. And he got inside of your head. And that's what Texas Chainsaw for me too, as well. It got into my head. I only watched it once.
Yeah.
Watched it once.
The House of a Thousand Corpses made me physically ill. So I just, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, my son said it bored him. He said it's too boring. It's not fast enough for him. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's what?
Right.
I'm like, okay, kid, whatever you say. He doesn't watch horror movies anymore. He's really likes the paranormal stuff, but really doesn't. I think he has about 250 DVDs of, he started with black and white horror films. So he started with Frankenstein from the 30s and Dracula, all of those original movie monsters. That's where he kind of started and then kind of went out from there. But the thing was, he always kind of understood that none of it was real. He understood scripts at a really young age. He understood costuming. He understood all of those things at a really young age. And he really wanted to be like a director. So I think the only thing that kind of saved me from being like, I might have a problem on my hands is the fact that he really wanted to, he understood the production value of it and realized that it wasn't real.
In House of a Thousand Corpses, there is the famous scene in the beginning when the teenagers pull up to get gas and they go in, and that's when they so and everything kicks off. That place is called the Four Aces Motel, and it's right next to my house out here. Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, oh, oof, oof, oof. And so somebody tells me about this, and I went, really? So I find it, and I go, and I'm gonna show you right now. I'm gonna show you this. And the way that Rob shot that film, the way that he did it. Let me go here. Hold on for a second. I just love technology. There it is. Okay. You remember from the movie, right?
Yep.
That is next to my house. And
That's
it's
creepy.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I take all my friends, anybody that visits out of town, they want to see two things. They want to see Lockheed Skunk Works. They want to see the Four Aces Motel. And it's right there out in the middle of the desert. And it's everything. What was that movie with John Cusack, Double Indemnity or whatever? That was also shot here.
Yeah.
That is a terrifying movie too, as well.
Mhm.
And but anyway, so when you pull up to this, I'm gonna say there's residual scary there.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's meant to, it's what it is. It's a desert motel out in the middle of the desert. There's nothing around it.
Mhm.
And there it sits. It's got that crazy Four Aces logo, right? No
Mhm.
vacancy, right? Whatever,
Right.
but you just go up and it's made to look like what you think it's going to look like. And there's something it's not. And I know the owner there, and I
Mhm.
know the guy that manages the property, and they own another piece of property that I shot a film at too as well. But there's something about it that it's scary,
Yeah.
and there's a reason why Rob Zombie shot that movie there. It
Yeah.
is just so realistic.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of murder in that location, and I don't know what the room numbers are, but I'm curious about the room number 6 personally. That would be my question, like, to the owner and ask him, does he know the history of it? Because I'm positive that there was a murder at that hotel at some point.
I'm going to leave that right there. It's pretty when you have movie sets like that, ghost towns, houses and things that are used over and over again. They're original. It out at Paramount on the lot, they're going to build something,
Yeah.
but this is on location,
Yeah.
right? This is a real place at one point. And I'm telling you, there's something residual there that is really, really spooky.
Yeah.
Now you made me wonder about room number 6 in the movie with John Cusack. What was that movie called? I'm going to put this back over to Bill, John, Jessica. The movie with John Cusack, where he was at the hotel and not the Bates Motel, dealing with a serial identity. Yes, identity. That's what it was called, identity. And one of the rooms at the hotel was the one that John Cusack was dealing with. I'm wondering if it was room number 6.
I'm curious because mediums can also pick up residual energy of things that were placed into the space that aren't true. So if there was a movie there and that premise was being like poured into the space, we could pick up on that. Mhm.
As a psychic medium, and going out and doing paranormal investigations, what
Mhm.
do you feel when you go on location? What are you looking for?
So I kind of just open myself up and I just ask kind of my guides to show me what it is that I need to see in the moment for what it is I'm looking for. So if I'm being asked to kind of tap into a specific time frame, then I'll say, okay, I really just need like the late 1800s. Show me the late 1800s into the like 1910 area. That's what I would like to see tonight. And then I just open myself up. And we work with clairs. So everybody calls it a sixth sense, but it's multiple senses underneath that six. So it's clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, and clairaudience. So hearing, seeing, feeling, and just knowing. Those are the way that we receive information. So I go into a space and I just open myself up to whatever it is I'm going to receive, whether I see it, feel it, hear it, know it. I could hear a name. I could see a person, like I see a man in a blue suit. I hear the name John. I know that there's a problem with a ledger, or I know that there's fighting over money. I know that there's two businessmen in here that are having a problem with each other, or someone tried to shove somebody out of the business, or I know that there was a woman here who would have lost her life. Those are the kinds of things that kind of come at me when I'm at a location. And I don't have a set specific way of wanting that information to come. It just comes. And usually I like to have someone around me who can validate that information. I've worked with Chris Fisk a bit. He was on the Ghost of Devil's Perch, that whole series Ghost of Devil's Perch, with Dave Schrader, Cindy Keza, and KD Stafford.
So good. So good.
Yep. So Chris is a friend of mine, and he brings me into locations in Butte, Montana, and says, go to town, Brooke. What are you picking up on? So I will just tell him what's going on in the space. Thank God for Chris, because he is like the guy has the keys to the city. He's the historian of Butte. He knows everything there is to know about Butte. So I don't have to do any of the research myself. I just tell him what I'm getting, and he'd be like, oh my God, yes, you're spot on, things of that nature. So it's so much fun working in a space where somebody already knows everything there is to know about the history, because I don't have to wait to get my answer.
That was one of, first off, Schrader's really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's nice.
And,
Yeah.
and he's my buddy. I've worked with him for 5 or 6 years on Coast to Coast, right?
Mhm.
Love Schrader, but the way that was presented, first off, I didn't know that city was that haunted. That's the first thing. But there was a lot of it's all about evidence for me.
Mhm.
And that was just coming out over and over and over again. It's the evidence. And that's what people want. We
Mhm.
all love a good story, but we want evidence so we can go, oh, okay, it is real.
Yep, absolutely. Agree. And Butte is hands down the most haunted city I've ever been to in my entire life. I never run out of things to investigate in that city. I've done the Dumas 4 times, the Cabbage Patch. I've done the Myra brothel, the Copper King Mansion, and then Chris brought me into Silverbow a couple times. And I'd have to say, it's funny because Silverbow Center was not featured on that show. I would be very cautious to go in there again, to be honest with you, because I felt like
Those Cabbage Patch scenes.
Mhm.
Oh man. Do you remember what was the sheriff's name?
Um,
But that sheriff was just hilarious. He's like, okay, man, I'm at, okay, I'm over at this place and you need to come down here. There's more stuff going on. Yeah, that was crazy. And those Cabbage Patch scenes were just insane. That's the one, isn't that where Dave got sick and fell?
he got punched. It was almost like a place memory. He walked into getting shot, like a place memory type of situation where he just hit the ground. He thought he popped
He
or
hit the
ruptured.
ground. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the Cabbage Patch. It's incredible how Butte protects its history, because there's not much left of the Cabbage Patch, and that was a huge chunk of the area at the time. It's now dwindled down to a couple cabins that's protected in the back of the Myra brothel, and they do a really good job protecting what's left of it. But it's a fascinating place, because those buildings that still stand there, the few that they have, that's it. That's what it was back then. So it hasn't changed, and they preserved them really well. But that place is crazy haunted. Silverbow Center, most haunted place I've ever been in my entire life. And I've been to Sheboygan Insane Asylum. So
You brought this up earlier. I want to circle back to it. I don't know if I would investigate a hospital.
yeah.
I don't know. Prisons are also kind of freaky to me
Hmm.
because bad stuff went down there. I mean,
Yeah.
bad. I mean, bad. The worst of the worst. But hospitals are also just like scary
Yeah.
to me. I don't. Maybe it's the video game Silent Hill. I played it like way too much. I don't know, but
That'll do it.
totally. But
Yeah.
are you okay with places like that? You
Yes.
just wander into an old haunted hospital?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know why I don't have fear. I'm like, yeah, let me get in there. I don't think there's a single place that I would feel like, unless I got there and I started to experience things that made me feel like I needed to get out. I'm never like, bring it on is kind of how I say. That's how I feel about it. Well, Sheboygan Insane Asylum was probably one of the most active places I've been in. I did that with Dave and Shane, and Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman. Um, and picking up on different stuff throughout the building. But I mean, me and my partner were seeing things that other people weren't seeing. I saw a full blown shadow figure walk across the door, and Dave was in his recorder. Everyone's watching Dave watch his recorder, and and my partner's like, "Did you see?" I'm like, "I saw that." And then we were seeing ghost lights across, because it's in like a kind of a U shape. We were seeing ghost lights on the other side, and people were kind of packing up, ready to leave. I'm like, am I seeing that? And Martin's like, yeah, no, what is it? I don't know. And there was something about it that didn't make us stop and tell anybody else. I don't know if it's we were afraid it would stop or we wouldn't see it anymore. Maybe we didn't want to call attention to ourselves, but yeah, it was very active, but I didn't feel threatened necessarily, even though I should have, because there was entity calling my name into the voice recorder repeatedly. So that could spook a couple people, but not me. I don't spook very easily.
Dave is a great investigator, and
Mhm.
he has a really good open mind, and he knows how to notice things, and he's
Yeah.
really good at that. Shane attracts that shit.
Yeah. Poor
He
Shane.
does, and I love Shane. I know, right? Shane is amazing, but he's a magnet for this stuff,
Yeah.
isn't he?
It's because he's mediumistic. And the sooner that he dives into that and taps into that, the better he'll be able to control the situation. But he's a moth to a flame to them. So it'll keep happening to him.
Sometimes I feel so bad for Shane.
I know.
I love the guy, right? But I think that's another thing that what if, okay, let's say you're doing an investigation and you have somebody there, camera person, sound, whatever, production assistant, that is being a bump on a log. Nah, this shit ain't real, man. I'm only here for the money. I got to pay rent next week, and that's why. Does that mess up an investigation? Do spirits pick up on that when somebody's being just negative?
I find that it probably puts an uptick in energy because it's a challenge to them. And so, hey, be pessimistic and don't believe in it all you want, because you're just going to make it better for me.
I love that. That's a good attitude. That's a good attitude. Have you ever there's there's a reason for this question. Have you ever seen anything strange in the sky?
Yes.
Do you think that it's connected?
I think it's all connected somehow.
Right.
Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts. There's a connection. There's a thread through that I just can't put my finger on. One of my very close friends, I don't know if you know who he is, but his name is Toby Johnson, or Tobe
Oh, yeah,
Johnson.
he's been on this show many times.
He's one of my best friends. And
He's been on once, and he's been twice. I don't know, Bill, how many times has Toby been on the show?
He's fascinating.
He's great.
Yeah. So he, just to listen to him and the rabbit holes that he will go down, he takes you with him on every rabbit hole. You're just like falling down the rabbit hole with Tobe. You're like, yeah, yeah. In this thread that he has about Bigfoot being not Bigfoot, but something else which is connected to something else, which is connected to, I think Tobe has talked a bit about Bigfoot and the connection to abductions or abductees, even, that there's a vein or a thread there. So I don't know. I think it's all interconnected in a way that we cannot comprehend. We won't comprehend no matter how far we go down the rabbit hole and we want to. I don't think we'll ever get that answer.
Well, so to that end, if we look at the possibilities of everything being connected, and I believe that it is, and we look at spirits and ghosts and Bigfoot and orbs, you mentioned ghost lights, right? That fundamentally that everything just may be the result of something basic.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? But they seem to happen around the same time in the same areas. And once you open your mind up to it and you're looking for things, then suddenly, you know what I mean? And so could all of this, when Toby or other certain Bigfoot researchers talk about Bigfoot being spirit, that lives in trees and that, comes out in I don't think that that's too far-fetched. When a skeptic, this goes back to what we were talking about with Samhain. When a skeptic goes, well, man, we've been talking about this for years, leprechauns and trolls and ghosts and the old man in the wood. I'm like, listen to yourself. Exactly.
Right.
Right. Today we call it by different angels.
Yeah.
Right. But we use different words today to describe it. It's an interdimensional being.
Right.
Well, back in Ireland, that was an evil troll under the bridge or a leprechaun. Today we talk about Martians and little green men. Have you ever seen the box of Lucky Charms?
You sure
Right?
have.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So has this been going on for thousands of years? And today we just use other ways to describe it?
I think so. Because if you look back at like hieroglyphs and things of that nature, there are ones that show it's very clear. It looks like an alien ship in the sky, like on a hieroglyph, or, if you look at these ancient drawings, you know what I mean? Why does every deity look like a bird with a purse in its hand in every culture? You know what I mean? Like there's something going on there. But I'm a big believer that time isn't like time doesn't exist, and everything's kind of maybe happening all at the same time. And we're in this meat suit. And so we have to put time on everything. That's just how we function, right? But it's an illusion. So when you see, like, I'll give you a quick example of that. I was doing an investigation at the Dumas brothel with a couple of friends of mine, Kim and Scott Horn. So my partner, Martin, and Kim and Scott were in the basement called the Cribs. I was all the way up on the third floor doing ghost box, Estes ghost box with the headphones on, plugged into a ghost box, scanning the radio frequencies. I had a walkie-talkie in my hand. So the idea was they were going to be talking downstairs or asking questions, and they would have the walkie, and anything I heard, I would walkie over to them. So we're in two totally separate spaces.
Well done. That's good. That's strong.
Yeah. So they start apparently going off on a conversation, and they're going down a rabbit hole, and they're talking about, well, what if we're not the people to them? What if we're the ghosts and we're haunting them? And apparently right at that moment, I heard on the ghost box and radioed over, you're the spirits. So weird. Is it the conversation that they were having that put that energy into the space? And then it's creating something in the space, and that's what is being picked up on by me? Or is it actually a conversation? and we're kind of the spirits, and they're the ones investigating us, right? So it's
Doesn't
weird.
sound strange at all. No, it doesn't. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
I know, right? If your mind is in that space to think beyond the box, some of the stuff that people say is really not far-fetched, if you have your mind kind of in that space of openness, it's really not far-fetched.
Yeah, well, if the concept, and this is science, this isn't me, this is science,
Mhm.
about multi-worlds, multiverse, and dimensions and parallel worlds, right? These discussions, math, the science behind it says, well, this is possible. All right, so if that is the case, separated by visibility and frequency and whatever it may be, but
Mhm.
in this version of us here right now, there's me sitting in this studio talking to you. At the same time, there is another of this happening right now, but maybe in that other world, there's somebody else standing here next to me.
Yep.
Okay. All right. There's two of us in this room instead of one in the studio. And then for a split second, I see it.
Yep.
That world is revealed to me.
Mhm.
So this to me is a ghost.
Exactly.
Follow me?
I
Now,
absolutely follow
right,
you.
right. So if you flip the script,
Mhm.
right, and we go into whatever that other alternate world is,
Yeah.
I'm the ghost.
Yeah.
If we, you know what I mean? If we come into focus for a minute and, somebody's going in, honey, you're not going to believe what I just saw. There's this guy sitting in a chair and there. you know
Right?
what I mean?
Exactly.
What is wrong? Science says this is part of the reality. So when we talk about ghosts or things that have been going on since the dawn of man, this is nothing new.
Yeah.
This didn't start with Zach Bagans.
Where's Aaron? Is he in the closet?
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Goodman.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And I'm okay with that. It happens so often with me, and you were mentioning it earlier, right? Where you start to ignore, something looking around the corner.
Yeah.
That I accept it more about it's just the way things are.
Yeah.
It's not something here trying to scare me. It's
Mhm.
just some things we just don't understand yet, right?
Yep. Agree with that completely. The possibilities are wild to think about, right? I think it's fascinating, but I mean, it's funny how much the sciences try to, I feel like they're getting better at blending with these types of beliefs, but for the longest time, of course, science is science and this is like woo woo and it's out there, but is it really, if you think about it? I mean, think about the things that Tesla used to talk about. Nikola Tesla used to talk about these wild things. He believed very highly in crystals and the power of crystals. Well, look at what it runs. Look at what runs off of crystal technology. Not to mention the fact that we have that, like, we accept things in science like um, uh, theoretical physicists, like what was Sheldon on the Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all
Mm-hmm.
theory, right? It's not, you can't prove it, it's theory, but it's science, and that's okay. Well, why is what we theorize too wild? Where does it end?
No, you're right about that. And so much here we have our community, you and I and our, the Church of Woo, right? And it's so wonderful. And we are dealing with stuff that we don't necessarily see. We can feel, we can taste, as you mentioned. Oh, you didn't mention taste, by the way. I think that's another. That's another.
Clairgustance.
That's another voyance.
Yep.
Another voyance. Is that? But in the world of theoretical physics,
Mhm.
They don't see shit.
No.
They don't. Nobody was around for the Big Bang.
Right.
So, but they can tell us about it and how they can't see an atom with their eyes. They can't
Right.
see an electron. They can't. No, this is math, string theory, string theory. The smallest thing that will never get solved, right? But they can't see it. But they are moving to right. But when it comes to consciousness, they're in denial. When it
Right.
comes to spirituality, they're in denial. Life after death or ghosts. Wait a minute. It's the same stuff that you are working on,
Yep.
right? You want us to interdimensional wormhole, time travel, multidimensional quantum computers that work in another dimension in a
Right.
parallel world. You want
Right.
us to accept that, but you don't believe in ghosts? Come
Right.
on, man.
It's wild. It's wild to me. I don't know. It goes back to that whole denial thing, or that, you can't force someone to change their beliefs, but it's wild,
What do you think powers a spirit? What do you think is behind that? I mean, I gave you my interdimensional idea,
Right.
but I love asking different mediums and investigators, when you see something like that in a shadow figure, what's that
Mhm.
made of?
My personal theory is PK energy. It's egregoric energy, and it's not necessarily. So people say, well, that has to be from people in the space, right? Well, how would they know about this priest, right? That's stuck in the space with this name if they never researched it. So how can they put that PK energy in the space? Well, I
Mm,
also believe that we as people put our PK energy into the space as we're living, creating kind of an aggregore of our own energy. And then we die. And then the shadow figure who's stuck behind, maybe it's just this manifestation of all of this PK energy from all of these emotional roller coasters that this person was going through internally, or whatever it was, that was poured into the space while they were alive and stays behind after their death. Maybe that's what's going on,
wow, that's heavy. I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Mhm.
that. What do you do? Let's close out with this. This is always, I think it's on everybody's mind, but I love asking psychics and mediums this question.
Mhm.
How do you handle walking into somebody else's house? You could be there for dinner, right? You could be there picking them up to go somewhere, but you have to go in. How do you deal with that? Does it just all light up?
I'm glad you kind of asked me that question, because I am going to be the medium that's different than probably the other ones that you've spoken to. I am very lucky in the fact that I am in the off position at all times. I do not have to protect my energy or keep them at bay or tell them back off. I'm not working right now. I don't need to do that. When I work, I turn the light switch on. Okay, time to work, switch the awareness. Here we go. And then when I'm done, boop, back to normal state of mind. It's the weirdest thing, because a lot of other mediums are not like that. They're so blown open. They're like, oh my gosh, the spirit is bugging me. They won't leave me alone. Like, I told them to go away. I don't have that problem at all. I'm in the off position at all times. And when I'm ready to work, boop, turn the light switch on.
Okay. That
Mhm.
was a good politically correct answer.
No, it's the truth.
No, no, okay, no, fair enough. But you're
Yeah.
not telling me the whole truth. Do
I
you go, okay, so what? I'm going to get it out of you. It's my job. I've been doing this for a long time. But so let's say you go to a house for the first time.
Mhm.
Have you turned on the switch?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah,
That's the
for sure. For
All
sure.
right.
Mhm.
Now we're
Mhm.
getting somewhere. Okay, so do you keep it to yourself?
You know, I surround myself, like, I don't have normal friends, Jimmy. My friends are like Toby Johnson and Alicia Pfeiffer, and, like, you know what I mean? So when I walk into someone else's location or space, they usually are asking me to tap into the location anyways. So I kind of get that where I don't have to really hide it from the person because they're kind of expecting that. So say Tobe and Alicia asked me to come over to their location. They're like, what are you picking up on? Because they're out in the middle of the woods doing Bigfoot research, literally in the middle of nowhere in the woods. So it's usually my friends I just live in this world where that's kind of the expectation when I come over. What's going on here? My friend Jeff, who runs a shop in Port Townsend, Sacred Portal, who actually introduced me to Toby,
I
brings me
think
to
I've been there.
Sacred Portal.
Yeah, in Port Townsend, in
Yeah.
Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool little town, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a
Love it there.
haunted ass town, by the way.
Yeah. I
That's a
do a lot of work there. I've
Oh, I
done
know you do.
a lot
I,
of work out in Port Townsend. Definitely. I've been in a
I've
lot
been
of the
there many.
locations.
You know how many people listening to the show have been to Port Townsend? None. Right? It's tiny. It's tiny, and to get there,
Mhm.
that's work
Yeah.
to get to Port Townsend. It is like I think it's the northernmost town in the United States.
Is it really?
Before you get to Alaska. Well,
Wow.
yeah. Where do you go from Port Townsend after that?
Uh,
Canada. You go to
yeah.
Victoria.
It's pretty up there. It's on the peninsula, way up
It's
on the
on the peninsula.
peninsula.
It's
Mhm.
like the farthest northwest, and it's a tiny, cute
Yeah.
town full of
They do a good
vampires.
job with the
Full of
history.
vampires. Full
Yeah.
of vampires.
Full of it. It's
Full of it.
gloomy and all that stuff. It's
Yeah,
good,
but I
but
think I've been to that shop. I think I've been to that shop. I love walking
yeah.
around there.
Yeah, it's a great shop, and Jeff and Teresa who own it are fantastic. But Jeff brings me over to his mom's house in one of the bordering cities there. And it's not like a let's go over to my mom's house for lunch. It's my mom is experiencing outrageous paranormal activity. Could you please come over here and tell me what is going on the land? So I don't really have to hide it from people when I tap in because the people I hang out with, that's probably why they're having me over at their house in the first place.
Right. Oh, somebody just posted Port Angeles is the most northern town.
Port Angeles, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Mhm,
next to each other.
mhm.
They're next to
Yeah.
each other. Um, I didn't claim to be Marco Polo, everybody. Gee, man. But that's not right.
I'm
Port
Googling
Angeles Church. Port Angeles. Man.
it.
But I've been to both. I've been to both. I've been to both.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Oh
some
man.
good areas on the peninsula. I love that. Forks is real good. Crescent Lake is like one of the most beautiful hidden gems ever. But the thing is that whole peninsula, if you come in to Washington State, you're having to drive like 3.5 hours from the airport to get there. So it is a trek if you're flying in.
Oh man, bridges, islands, just
Mhm.
woof, woof, it's endless.
Yeah.
It's endless, but beautiful,
Mhm.
absolutely beautiful. But okay, so you go, you turn on the switch, and the
Mhm.
only reason why I bring this up, I have a very dear friend of mine. You may know her, Amy Hoyt, and she's an amazing psychic medium. Man, I almost want to tell you about her new TV show, but I don't think I can mention it yet.
Oh.
Yeah, she's doing. Man, I'm screw it. I'm not going to say the network. New home buyers are looking at houses, and she goes in and reads the houses and tell them if it's a good idea or not.
That's so good. That's
Yeah,
so
that's a
good.
great show. It's a great man. I'm so apologetic if I didn't say the network. I didn't say the name of the show. I didn't say any of that, but
Mm-mm.
that's what it's about. Anyway, she's amazing, and she's a neighbor of mine. And I go out a lot. We hang out. We met in Egypt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we live in this tiny little town together, but we met in Egypt. Isn't that weird?
Meant to be.
Yeah. It meant to be. But anyway, so she goes in the house, and I look straight at her. Okay, what's going on? There's, it's just like
Yeah.
there's stuff going on, and do you want to hear about it? And no, I don't. But okay, so let's say if it's something bad, and that's what I'm always afraid of. You don't
Mhm.
hear about the good witch, you hear about the bad stuff.
Right.
If it's something negative, do you reveal it to them?
I think that my idea of what's negative might be different than others' idea of what is negative, because I'm looking at it from a standpoint of why am I viewing this as negative? What are they trying to show me? Is this a spirit who's showing me who they were as a person because they want to atone for that, or they're trying to be honest about who they were as a person? Maybe they're not that way now, but that's how they're presenting themselves to me because they want me to know who they were, right? So they may not still be that way. So it's about listening when I go in, listening to what's going on, trying to feel into the situation, what's needed in the situation. Does somebody need to be prayed for? Does somebody just need to be acknowledged? What's going on in this? Is it residual? Is it intelligent? Those kinds of things as well. If I find something to be of a little bit more of a negative aspect to it, okay, why is it that way? And what can we do to kind of appease that situation? Where can we meet in the middle with this spirit or this situation? Where can we meet in the middle so that we both can share this space and be at peace? You know?
Yeah, the key words, share this space.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because
You
that's
know,
what it is. They're always around us. Spirit is not separate from us. That's the illusion that spirit is separate from us. We are not separate from the spirit world. So they're around us all day, every day. We may not be completely aware of it at all times, but they're always near us. So we are sharing the space when it comes down to it, right? So it's about, okay, if something is presenting itself in a way that I can see or I'm feeling or I'm experiencing, yep, how do we come to a conclusion of sharing this space? What do you need? What can I do? Hey, maybe he's a old guy who doesn't like noise, and you're playing your drum set all day, so maybe
right,
it's like,
right.
okay, at this time, this is the only time, but at this time, I'm going to play the drums. Okay. And you're going to deal with it, but I'll be quiet from this time to this. So it's about reasoning with the spirit in the space, because maybe he's just a grumpy old guy who wants his quiet and you're just too loud,
I hope everybody's listening to you right now. They've all heard me talk about what goes on here. Okay. My
Mhm.
place is haunted,
Yeah.
but I have chosen to just deal with it, share
Mhm.
this space, and that's it. I freaked out like twice, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I live alone, so it's an opportunity for a lot of people to freak yourself out,
Yeah.
and to get scared. And I would say that only amplifies the situation.
Yeah.
Or you can go, man, whatever, do your thing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch this movie. You
And
can
it's
do whatever you
probably
want to.
That's the better way probably to handle it, I would say. The more energy you give it, the more it's going to manifest. Sometimes you just have to go, oh, okay, and move on with your day and not give it that energy. Sometimes you're feeding it. You're feeding that space. The energy of you paying attention and getting a reaction just pushes more energy into the space for it to manifest even further. So yeah, sometimes I think just kind of going, oh, okay, and moving on with your day is probably the best way to handle it.
I, it's so funny to me, and I get it. I do. I understand. People want to know. All right. So why? So Jimmy, why don't you have cameras set up in your house? Why don't you have a medium come over? Why aren't you burning this? Why aren't you pouring salt in front of your doors? Whatever it is, right? And I understand that because I used to think that way. And I do in certain situations.
Mhm.
Not here.
Yeah.
This is where I live. If I'm
Yeah.
going somewhere else, okay. All right. Okay. So we're at the Avalon Hospital in Crescent Heights. Whatever. Okay, I don't give a crap. I don't live there.
Right.
Let's go in and pull the Zach Bagans, you know, if you know what I mean. But I don't think you want to do that where you live.
No, you don't. I think I've heard, and I don't even know exactly where this came from, but I heard never investigate your own house. Just never investigate your own house. I feel like it stirs things up. And what if you find something that you can't handle, that you don't want to know, and now you can't unknow it. So it's probably better not to investigate your own house.
Yeah, somebody said to me, and then we'll wrap the show up. Somebody goes, so Jimmy, you need to put cameras at the bottom of your stairs and catch this entity coming from the second floor to the first floor. And I go, no, I don't. That's the last thing I want to see.
Right.
I mean, at the bottom of the list would be that.
Yeah. Oh, great. Let me catch the shadow figure.
Yeah. Let's just, oh man, I have all these moving shoes in my closet, right? And it went on, it's chilled out the last year, but the first 3 years after I bought the house, it was like every day, right? And these piles of shoes in the middle of the floor, and it was crazy. And so I went and got motion time-lapse cameras. I never set them up. They're still in boxes. I never pulled them out. But Jimmy, you need to film these falling shoes. And I had the cameras. Brooke, I'm serious. I'm standing. I was like, okay.
I think you made the right choice to not put them
back. I was like, what am I doing? Do I really want to see that? Little walking shoes on the no, man.
No, definitely not. Probably the better choice, just to keep the cameras in the box and keep your sanity,
What a fantastic show tonight, and a great conversation. We've got your website up, of course, Medium, BrookeAshley.com. We've got that up. Where can everybody reach out to you and follow what you're doing?
You can follow me on Facebook at Mediumship with Brooke Ashley. So it's just Mediumship with Brooke Ashley on Facebook. That would also be the same for my Instagram. You can also catch my YouTube, Spectre and Spooks podcast, all one word. I just did a short series for Halloween. Speaking of Halloween, they're just really fun, spooky stories, about 10 to 15 minutes each, narrated by me. So you can catch that at Spectre and Spooks podcast on YouTube as well.
Thank you so much, Brooke. I look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you so much.
Night. Thank you so much. You're great. Brooke Ashley, everybody. And again, thank you so much, Brooke. Happy Halloween. We've got Brooke's links up below over on our website and throughout social media. She's got a lot of stuff out there, and she's right. So it is Facebook, and it's YouTube, TikTok. And if you head over to her website, which we have below, everything else that you need is right there. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I do want to remind everybody that tomorrow is October 29th. This is 3-Eye Atlas Reveal Day. It is Arrival Day. So that's what we're doing tomorrow night on Fade to Black. We're going to do a 3-Eye Atlas special hosted by me. So I'll see everybody tomorrow night. It's a big day. What's going to go on? What's going to be revealed? Whew, all of that and much more tomorrow night on Fade to Black. I'll see you then. But for now, all I've got is Go Beckley Tappy. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go Beckley Tappy.